Hi, today I have a message called Generating the Illusion. Okay, so beginning with you believe there is a you that needs to be kept safe. When we feel vulnerable in some way, we're seeing our you, our entity, as separate and cut off and in need of special things to keep it safe. And just holding that up to the light so we can bump into these ideas today, wherever they don't feel good, and then hold them up to the light. We don't have to go in there and perform surgery so much as just notice where our real problem is. So these thoughts about all the separate yous aren't our actual thoughts or the thoughts that would be most natural to us. They're thoughts from ego that we have superimposed over the memory and the awareness that everything's joined, everything's benign, everything's innocent, that there is no conflict, but we seem to have made a place here where we can experience conflict. And part of that conflict is you're something with a border and everything's just trying to get over that border and dominate you. And you have to stand your ground and hold your border and don't allow anything else to dominate you. But then when we get into what are my actual thoughts, what's my actual awareness that I'm covering up with these thoughts from ego, it's always really simple and really peaceful. I am joined with that one over there, be it a thing or a person or whatever. We're actually together. There aren't any actual borders or boundaries, even though in this place borders and boundaries seem to abound, right? There aren't any actual ones. And we actually rest in complete peace together. I may be seeing and experiencing and feeling something that attempts to contradict that, but it's only attempting to contradict that. So the more I stop and look at the reality that there is no actual conflict, that everything is in place here to transition into the replacement illusion for what I've built here with thought. Everything's in place, and I can just say yes and show me. So I can come to the awareness I'm looking at something that is definitely not true and quite confusing. It leads me away from the actual thoughts in my mind, the thoughts that belong to me, that tell me about reality. I seem to see and experience something that would contradict that. There's a replacement illusion for what I've made, and I can let that online now. I don't need to have a border or boundary between me and this. This is just another illusion, right? But the love is shining behind it, just like the love is shining behind what seems to be the worst thing amongst us. It's equally here and there, because there's only here. So when I bring it back to the simplicity of that and stay in the awareness, I've been generating an illusion. You can look at it actively like that, like the fake thoughts, I believe, that are thoughts of separation generate this illusion. And it seems like I am the doer, I am doing it. Or you can look at it from the lens like this illusion is entirely in the past. It's gone, and it never was. It never even was, but it seems to be now, and I'll allow the correction for that. So there's some different ways of looking at it. And the way that's most appropriate for you will be in your mind, but you never have to die on that hill, because if we're playing with illusions, no one's right. It's all illusion. So yeah, we never have to try to die on that hill. Okay. Let's see. You believe that all the yous are going to try to dominate your you. When I say you believe, I'm just saying when we don't feel good, and this message is for me. We believe thoughts that are not our true thoughts, not reflective of reality. We believe these thoughts that generate illusion. and there's, when we wake up to what we're doing or what we have done and what's already over and already healed, depending on how you want to look at it, then we can be given the substitute illusion that just reflects very directly how things actually are. The pointers are very, very clear. So we just allow that to come in and replace. Okay, so you believe that all the yous are going to try to dominate your you, and you believe that special security or special suffering results from this dominance. An example is, it appears that some members of my family are ill, and it appears that and in different instances I have started to experience symptoms, and then I start to believe I am going to get ill. And then, I'll have other beliefs about the illness I seem to see in them. So what came in and appeared to dominate us? This illness. That's something we can look at. It's just a way to learn. It's just a way to drop out of the structure of what we never needed and is already healed and already over, but I'm seeing it as if it were still here. And so in that context, I can just open to, this is only an illusion, and there's a substitute illusion that can slide in and replace it, and I wouldn't want to do anything to try to prevent that. So if I keep reacting to the idea of this illness and everything I think it is, and every way in which I think it's affecting everyone, I'm going to attempt to keep it in place like it's my preference. But if I know I don't really need any particular illusion, but I welcome the one that shows me my mind has been healed, that acknowledges what is real and what is unreal. It makes it very simple, very direct, very easy to share. Let that one come online. So I'm not saying in particular what I want to see or touch or anything like that. If that's your path, that's beautiful and that's appropriate. And walk your path and light it up and inspire me. But this one's mine to see. I don't need a particular illusion. I just need to accept the one that sets everyone straight and that helps me see everyone as they are, and that helps me see through the fiction of whatever I've been treating as if it were not a fiction. Okay. This one seems kind of dark, but it's about seeing through things quickly, letting them go quickly. So in that sense, it's very light. Okay. You believe in being on the verge of disaster, if you think of many or major ways, and you believe that separate self-control is necessary to avert disaster. So we could just kind of step out of this whole disaster loop of anxiety and fear that we've been relying on. The idea of disaster was necessary to the idea of safety, because the idea of safety was all about holding disaster off, seeing it over there instead of here, seeing it in someone else's experience instead of your experience, hiding from disaster, running away from disaster. When we made up disaster, and it's never been real. And the one disaster we refuse to look at is the idea that we could be separate. Well, we're looking at it now. We believe we actually accomplished that that's a real thing, that we separated. But it's just an idea that could never actually happen. I can make an illusion in which it seems very realistic that I separated and you separated and we're separate, but that's all I can do. So what do my actual thoughts remind me of? No disaster has ever occurred. And it may seem to have occurred, but it's just built out of thoughts that have never been your actual thoughts. They're like imposter thoughts. They pretend to be you, and they give you an experience of a separate you. And seen from that perspective, then what is looming in anyone's face? What is coming to get anyone? What is chasing after anyone? What's really here, instead of all the different forms of disaster we imagined, to hide the idea that we're guilty about, that we separated from each other, from our power source, that we invited disaster which will haunt us till the end of time. I don't think that's how it goes. I think we understand we've been making the disaster. We stop, we turn around, we look at it, this wave that's going to crash on us. We turn around and look at it, we contemplate, what have I seemed to have done? What is the nature of this? What is it? And the wave freezes. And the wave transforms. And the wave never crashes into us or knocks us down. Maybe it becomes a little wavelet that laps at your toes. But we turn around and we look at disaster. We contemplate the nature of it and understand there's nothing to run from. I can just look at, are there any thoughts present that would cover up the awareness of the love I am with everyone, of the light that's always been here? And if so, would I allow those thoughts that have never been my thoughts, my true thoughts, or anyone else's, would I allow the sight of them to go, knowing that this separation is not my identity? And would I allow them to be replaced with an illusion that's designed to help me let go of illusion? In this calm moment where nothing's after me, nothing's stalking anyone, while ego might suggest some things. It's just suggesting. Can I allow the replacement illusion to come in for everyone in my sight, and to make everything obvious? Okay, you believe that without separate self-control, disaster is guaranteed. This seems like the same idea, just slightly different. But our devotion to the idea of separate self-control, we can allow that to be exposed in whatever form it's going to pop up in today. And just like turning around to look at a wave that seems to be right behind you and very big, and you should be trying to outrun it, stop and turn around instead. And look at the nature of all the thoughts about separate self-control. There's one thing we need to control, and that's our focus on thought. And feeling's here for us in that. Feeling tells us when we're focused on a thought that isn't ours. that we've requested. We've requested these disaster illusion thoughts to be delivered to us, and we try to seek out roles we think we would prefer within these disaster stories. And instead of showing up in a disaster movie, we can just turn around, look at the wave, and melt out of, okay, there was something I thought I wanted, or I thought I needed to keep existing in. I thought that was my reality, but it's not. Love and light are my reality, and the reality of all. And I'm willing to allow an illusion to come online that reorients me to what is actual and makes it very obvious for me what never was. And that's it. It's really simple. You understand, I've been attached to this disaster-based idea that things are stalking us or after us or gonna get us. It's like we've been in the horror movie. We've been making it. And then we just understand, I don't want that anymore. I'm going to let a different version of the movie come online. And it is as simple as that decision. And then it unfolds in front of us. The idea of all the things that could seem to have power over us, overwhelm us, harm us, they're what we wanted to see. But when we don't want to see that anymore, when we no longer accept that as our reality, we don't see them anymore. They're not real, they're not immutable, they're not changeless. They're very changeable. And we don't have to do the work of picking and choosing. I want this to show up in that form. Things just alter as we allow them to. And we allow them online in the form that would point very directly toward what is real. And it's always very good news. Everyone is beautiful, everyone is loved, everyone is cared for, everyone is supported and shown the way. There's happiness for everyone. That's what we can allow online. Okay, let's see. And in that there's a flow rather than a separate self struggling. There's an acceptance of everyone being joined, everyone and everything, and a willingness to go with that flow and just follow. Okay, the belief in separate self-control is generating the illusion of disaster and potential disaster. So, we can experience this in mini forms and macro forms. If you think of what people say about the future of the planet, and understand it's up to you. Are you done having a nightmare? And are you ready to allow a gentle dream to come online? Would there be any reason to prevent a gentle dream from coming online? Would there be any reason to hold back gentleness and love entering everyone's lives and yours, and just becoming very obvious and leading you, showing you what your next step is? Very obvious and clear ways. You would have to trust the leader, right? Well, the leader would be what all of you together are. All of us together are, and always will be. So we're remembering a trust in our leader. Take me to your leader. Our leader is us together, our harmony. You could say God, but I'm asked to emphasize it from this angle. To recognize that it involves all of us. That's what we are, that's our source. So just spending a couple of moments looking at that and realizing I have no good reason to attempt to work to busy myself with a different reality and try to hold this back. There's no reason. And then I just rest. Okay, I think that's it for today. Happy healing, happy waking up, happy remembering.